mention two things, very important, my dear brothers and sisters. One, it has to do with our local community here in Dearborn. Yesterday, I received, like many of other people in our community, I received a video clip taken from Hemlock Park here in Dearborn. In the video, how many of you have seen that video? Please raise your hand. Almost half of you. In the video, it shows a Christian missionary preaching to a bunch of Muslim kids, ages 6, 7, 8, 9. Some of the girls sitting are wearing hijab. A missionary is preaching to them about Christianity. Somehow he gathered them without the knowledge of their parents, or maybe with the knowledge of their parents. I really don't know. I'm so puzzled about that. How in the world someone would come to our community, in the heart of our community, and gathers all those kids? There were at least 15, 20 kids sitting, listening to a presentation by a pastor or a missionary. I don't know exactly what his status is, but he was preaching Christianity to our kids. My dear brothers and sisters, we need to be very alert and very careful about that. We cannot just take things for granted. We have to be very careful. When you send your kids to the park, watch who they are talking to. Where are those parents? What they were doing? I'm sure they were sitting somewhere, either having argila, or eating laham mashwi, or chatting, or talking nonsense, completely heedless of what's happening to their kids. My dear brothers and sisters, this is a big responsibility. If my child transgresses, if my child deviates from my faith, if my child is lost, I am responsible. I will be held accountable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum naran waquduha an-nas wal hijara. Where are those parents? Where's the community? How this happens? Before our eyes, someone comes right in the heart of our community, recruiting our kids and trying to convert them to another religion. By the way, my dear brothers and sisters, I know my lecture will be broadcast. Muslims and non-Muslims will listen to that. I'm not against Christianity. I don't want anybody to think that we're against Christianity. Islam respects Christians and Jews and the people of the book. But no one has the right to steal my child from me. No one has the right to go after vulnerable kids who cannot distinguish between right and wrong. What does a kid who is 6-year-old know about Christianity and Islam and theology? This is an immoral act to go after kids, Muslim kids, trying to recruit them and make them Christian. Anybody does it is immoral. Those are kids. Those are vulnerable kids. They cannot distinguish. They cannot make a decision for themselves. For someone to take the opportunity in the absence of their parents to go after those kids and try to instill in them the seeds of a different religion than their own, that's immoral. No matter what they call it. Missionary work or whatever, proselytization, this is an immoral act. And we Muslims need to be careful, my dear brothers and sisters. We need to be very careful. We cannot just trust our kids going out, talking to anybody. Watch who your kids are talking to. Even when they go to the park, watch who they are talking to. Someone there is waiting for you, waiting for you to be heedless so he can steal your child from you and convert them to another religion. Be very careful, my dear brothers and sisters. Even in the school, when you send your kids to public schools, ask your kids what they are studying, who they are talking to. When they go out, ask them who they met. I heard there was a place opened recently here, a coffee shop. It was used as a front. Apparently it's a coffee shop, but in fact it was a place to recruit Muslims and to turn them into Christians. Be careful when your kids go there, especially those kids who do not know much about their faith. They could be misled, they could be brainwashed. That's why, my dear brothers and sisters, the best way to keep your kids immune against all their dangers is when you keep them close to their religion. That's the best way. That's the best insurance policy to keep them safe. When you keep them educated about their religion, no one can steal them. If my son is educated about his faith, if he knows his faith, if he practices his faith, no one can steal him. But when I have kids who don't know anything about religion, all they do is playing soccer, playing basketball, anytime, any extra time they have, they all spend it on sport, on PlayStation, on games, on iPad, on YouTube, and they don't know anything about their religion. That's why I tell you there is a retreat designated to help your kids to become better Muslims, educated Muslims. Go and register your kids. There is a table here, please. We're not doing this for da'ai or advertisement. We're doing this to save your kids, my dear brothers and sisters. Appreciate the ni'mah we have in this city, that there are certain institutions who are concerned about the future of your kids, trying to protect their future. The other message I would like